right, guys, welcome back to Next Week with Jeff Durbin. I am Jeff Durbin. Very excited about today's show. Very special guest, friend of mine, Eric Hovind with Creation Today. Eric, welcome to Next Week.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me, Jeff. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely pleasure. So it was kind of cool. We got a chance to see each other recently. You popped in and didn't even know you were in town, and you were in town doing some kind of special. Let everybody know what is happening with Creation Today. What are you up to?
So I'm super excited. We released the Genesis movie a couple years ago, and that was amazing. And I thought, let's do something that can really reach out there and is going where people are already at. So this was my 7th tour of the Grand Canyon. I lead a tour every year of the Grand Canyon. And this year I got to stop by Apologia on my extra day there and hang out with you guys. Loved it. Had an incredibly good time. Got to hear Dr. White speak. He was preaching for you because of I think, filling in because of some issues you were having back then, right?
Yeah, it's great having a lot of pastors that can handle things for sure.
No kidding. So we went 2 years ago to the Grand Canyon, and the film crew from Living Waters came with me. And you know Eddie. Eddie is just an awesome guy. I'm sitting there talking to Eddie, and I said, Eddie, look at all the people coming to the Grand Canyon. I mean, there's 6.5 million people every year walk the path that we were walking there at the Grand Canyon. I said, Eddie, can you imagine doing a documentary and taking people through the process of the science of the canyon to show how it formed, to show that there's obvious evidence for a flood, to point to the judgment that God put on planet Earth, and then say, hey, what are you going to do about the next judgment that's going to be coming? This last one really did happen. There's really going to be another one.
Right.
He said, Eric, I love that idea. So last year we went and filmed a brand new documentary called Scarred Earth that can be viewed absolutely free at GrandCanyonMovie.com. I couldn't be more excited about this project.
So Grand Canyon Movie, we're going to actually play a clip for you guys right now. I'll get a little bit of a taste of this film, Grand Canyon Movie, right here on Next Week.
You got the Grand Canyon behind you. How do you think the Grand Canyon formed?
How
do you think the Grand Canyon formed?
From the river. I have no idea. Humans destroyed everything.
Maybe some miracle.
The prehistoric, what are they? Dinosaurs?
I have no idea, actually, man.
Are you open to scientific evidence that could show that it had to be formed from a catastrophic event?
Yeah.
All right.
Scientific fact number 1. Does that help change your mind?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does.
I think so.
When you put it that way, I can see your point.
That was one of the best interpretations that I have heard, and I've heard a lot of them.
All right, guys, welcome back. So, Eric, this is exciting. I think what would be helpful, since obviously not everyone's seen it yet, I would love for you to help us. Help us to understand some of what you were talking about in terms of there is physical evidence for global flood. You talk about the Grand Canyon and how all that intersects, and we talk about the coming judgment in the future, Jesus returning, a final resurrection and judgment. All of us have to pay close attention to the details that are right in front of us. But help us with just that significant, I think, claim. Some people would say audacious claim. When you talk about the Grand Canyon being physical evidence of a flood, what do you mean by that?
Well, this last trip, we had a lady that spoke up out on the drive back from the Grand Canyon. We're headed back to the Phoenix area. And she said, I never realized that the Grand Canyon and this tour is not just about the rocks. This is underscoring the foundation of the gospel message. And it hit her for the first time that the idea that the Grand Canyon took millions of years, it's one of the icons of the evolutionary worldview, saying that the Colorado River for millions and millions of years carved out the Grand Canyon. Mm-hmm. She said that idea of the millions of years isn't just an affront to, what the Bible says in Genesis happened at the time of the flood, or the fact that God created the earth. It's really an affront, it's really an attack on the gospel message itself, because it lends the idea that death was in the world for millions of years, and it undermines the gospel. And we said, you're exactly right. That's exactly what's happening. So we take people on this journey and we just simply show them the science. We show them the facts. So I'd go up to people and I'd say, hey, let me ask you a question. I looked all official. I had my official Grand Canyon movie badge on, and we were handing out these really cool postcards that say Scarred Earth, said, hey, free postcards, and go check out the movie for free. And I would interview people and I said, hey, let me ask you something. How do you think the canyon formed? And I got all kinds of answers. Then I said, are you open to the idea that it could have formed from or as a result of the worldwide flood the Bible talks about in Genesis chapter 6 and 7? And then I got a variety of answers, yes and no. And then what amazed me, I said, hey, would you be open to scientific evidence? If they said no, I said, would you be open to scientific evidence for me to show you 3 things that prove it had to happen as a result of the worldwide flood? Everybody said, sure, yeah, we'd love that. So then I went and I talked about 3 main evidences. Evidence number 1, on top of Grand Canyon, there used to be an additional mile of sediment on top of the top of Grand Canyon, actually about 1.5 miles. So while the Grand Canyon is missing 900 cubic miles of sediment, that entire area around there is missing 130,000 cubic miles of sediment. So when you're looking down inside the Grand Canyon, you're saying, man, there's a lot of erosion. What you're not realizing is the erosion that happened all around is much bigger than the erosion that happened at the Grand Canyon. And I'd say, okay, what would it take to remove 1.5 miles of dirt for tens of thousands of square miles? And then I got all kinds of answers, the dinosaurs, a miracle, a flood. I got all kinds of answers. The Ice Age was a big one. And then I'd give them 2 more scientific facts. I said, check this out. All those layers that you're told were laid down slowly over millions of years, they were actually all laid down at the same time. There's no erosion marks in between the layers. There's no root growth from one layer to another. It's obvious these layers had to be laid down succinctly, one on top of the other, with no time gaps in between the layers. And I'd give a few scientific facts to show them that was the truth. I said, and then number 3, the Colorado River starts 3,000 feet above sea level. We go and we raft that. We go down that in a raft. It's amazing. But where we're standing on top of Grand Canyon, you're at 7,000 feet above sea level. How could a river that starts 3,000 feet above sea level come up to 7,000 feet above sea level and carve out the Kaibab Plateau to form the Grand Canyon? And it just gets their wheels spinning, and they go, you know what? That's interesting. And so then I ask the question. I say, so do these facts change your mind about how the Grand Canyon could have formed? And after a little more explanation, typically they're going, yeah, I can see how that makes a lot of sense. And then I transition from there. This is my kind of, what do you call it? When you do something in honor of somebody, my in honor of Ray Comfort film, I guess you could say, because I love the films he produces. And so then I go from there into, hey, why do you think God judged the world with a flood? There's scientific evidence all over for it. Why do you think God judged the world with a flood? And that instantly brought us into the spiritual world of asking and finding out what exactly happened. Why did God have to judge the entire world? And of course, most people know it's because of sin. They get that, they understand that, or at least they've heard that. And then from there, we can transition right into, hey, what are we going to do the next time he comes and judges the world? Would you consider yourself to be a good person? And we're right into the gospel message and taking them through the law into the gospel, talking about repentance and the judgment to come and what needs to happen with that. So hopefully it is a beautiful little package that can get out there. And my goal is to get these 6.5 million people that visit the canyon every year, get them to go and actually experience this movie to learn the truth about what the Grand Canyon represents. That scar is a reminder of the judgment of God. And it's a reminder of why Christ had to have nail-scarred hands and what he did for us on the cross. So it really is kind of a beautiful picture as you go there, not just to learn the geology, not just to see the beautiful scenery, but to remember the fact that this world was judged, and one day God will judge this world again. So I'm really excited about what the film has the potential to do as we digitally, and when we go there, we'll pass out postcards and let people know about it. But even digitally, tagging people's phones that are in that area, and all of a sudden they start seeing ads for a free movie. Yeah. Scarred Earth. It's the testing that we've done so far has been incredible. The number of people that are watching this film and going, that's amazing. The comments we're getting back are really good.
Yeah, I love that, Eric. I think what I've always appreciated so much about you and just loved about what you're doing is that you're trying to engage in the way that we have to engage today, that is in the public square through media, and you're doing it in a way that is high tech, that is beautiful, that is high quality. And that's what I think I appreciate so much, is that you're able to speak to this generation in a way that they can actually understand. And you're doing it in a way where you're utilizing the resources and tools that God has given to us. Like, for example, the kinds of things that you can do where you can tag people's phones. And if they're just in an area, you're able to actually slip an ad into their phone and communicate. It actually, in some ways, can be kind of scary, but actually can be useful at times if you're using it in a positive way. And I do appreciate so much that what you do, you try to do to the glory of God in a way that is actually high quality and beautiful. And then, of course, ultimately, most importantly, faithful. And I do love that what you're able to communicate, Eric, and you do this often, is that the Christian faith is a rigorous faith. It is a faith that is founded upon reason and the intellect and evidence and science and all those things. But you don't hang those things and suspend those in the air apart from a commitment to Jesus Christ, to God's Word, and to the gospel. You have them in tandem the way they're supposed to be. And so I love so much about this is that you're doing something that is important, that is beautiful, that is high-end, that can communicate with our generation, but you're doing it in a way that keeps the focus where it has to be, not on sort of neutral evidences, isn't this an interesting scientific find, but you're bringing it back constantly to the most important issue is what will you do now that you're confronted with more evidence and more light. We're always in a state of suppression of evidence and suppression of truth as fallen people, but here's an opportunity just to shed more light into the life of the image bearer, and you're pointing them directly to the important issue, and that is judgment, sin, God, and our need to actually contend with that and face Christ. What will we do with Christ? And then the call to repent and believe.
Amen. And you know as well as I do the number of people we talk to, and love the apologetic work that you guys do. It can be frustrating at times. I'm sure you and your team have had this conversation of how can we present all this evidence? How can it be so clear? And some people still go, I don't want to believe that.
Right.
And I think they don't want to believe that. I think the scripture speaks to this because of their unrighteousness. They know what this implies. They know what this means. Right. But the science could not be more clear. God, it once again, like it always does, confirms what the Word of God has always said. 2 Peter 3 tells us, in the last days, people are going to be willingly ignorant of the creation and the flood and then the coming judgment of God. And so we're tackling those and saying, look, no, God, it's obvious this world was created by God. Look at this. I love it when you hear people say, I could have designed a much better world than this. I'm going, yeah. Nice you try. Got a whole lot of universe design experience in your portfolio, don't you? Yeah. Oh, right. Man. But to see them continue to reject is sad, but at the same time, it reminds us our job is to speak the truth in love. And it's the Holy Spirit's job to change hearts. So that's our team here and the people that have supported this project. That's our number one prayer is, Holy Spirit, would this be, by chance, one of the tools that you use to open people's eyes, to open the eyes of the blind and allow them to see the truth?
That's powerful, Eric. Man, I love you, dude. And I love what you're doing. All right, man, tell everyone where they can go to get the film and to support what you're doing.
Awesome. Scarred Earth is available for free online at GrandCanyonMovie.com. Please share it with your friends. Share it on social media. We'd love for this to be a film that impacts our world and especially right here when in the United States, this is one of our big icons. I mean, Grand Canyon is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And I want to work with the other creation ministries out there, and we want to recapture this amazing scar on the planet and use it to point to the nail-scarred hands of Jesus Christ. So help us do that at GrandCanyonMovie.com.
All right, guys. My friend, someone I love very, very much and appreciate, Eric Hovind with Creation Today. Make sure you guys go and check out this film and do that. Participate. Share the content. Let people know about what's going on. Share the content. I think one of the things we have to all embrace today as Christians who love the Lord and love the gospel is that God has given to us a tool and a resource that is absolutely incredible. Like right now, Eric and I aren't even in the same state. He's far away. We're talking to each other live, and now we're streaming this across literally the planet. You're watching this all over the world right now, and some of you guys watching it even live. And all you have to do is click those buttons, like and share and comment. Let the world see this content. Here's a way where we can communicate the gospel in a very effective and beautiful way, and we can do it at the click of a button in an instant. Just consider this for a moment. Even 100 years ago, 200 years ago, if Eric and I wanted to do ministry surrounding the Grand Canyon and spreading this information, we would have to travel for a long time with a lot of money to speak to small crowds over a long period of time just to disseminate this information. And right now, as you're watching this, you get to get it out in an instant. Not just this interview, but the film itself. Eric, one more time, tell them where to go to get the film.
Scarred Earth is available at GrandCanyonMovie.com.
Excellent. All right, Eric. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jeff. Love you guys too.
All right, guys. So that's Eric Hovind, Creation Today. Make sure you guys go check it out. What an amazing opportunity to share a lot of really important information, all wrapped up in the gospel itself. Make sure you guys partner with us as we do this kind of mission work globally around the world. We'll be right back right here next week with Jeff Durbin. Stay with us, guys.
I want their faith to not just be something that stands, but something around which culture can be built.
We want students who can think critically about arguments, but also about the culture around them, that can then speak clearly to it, and that also have the ability to influence and shape because of the power of their message. Because that's really what the gospel does. The gospel throws down all the arguments against it. It speaks to the hearts of people, it influences, and it changes. If you can think of the flinch of their mind, when you throw a ball at somebody, some people jump back and some people reach forward to catch it. We want to shape graduates who their mind flinches in terms of cultural influence. When they hear an argument that needs to be engaged with, when they see a message that needs to be dealt with, that we want people who jump towards it and go after it. And that's what our curriculum is about.
Go to apologiastudios.com, get signed up, partner with us on All Access. You get all of the radio programs, you get the TV show, you get the after show, including Apologia Academy, and you partner with us in ministry, bringing the gospel around the world. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Next Week with Jeff Durbin. I am Jeff Durbin, and very excited about the show tonight. We are here with Luke the Bear.
What up?
And Joy the Girl.
Hello.
And you'll notice all of us have on all of these delicious Baby Lover t-shirts. That's right.
Baby lovers.
Baby lovers. That's right. EndAbortionNow.com. That's where you guys can go to get connected with your local church. Right now we have approximately 400 some odd local churches across the United States of America and around the world who are out now saving lives. Thousands of children have been saved through this effort, and you can go and get connected with your church, endabortionnow.com. You go there with your local church. You guys all get connected. We send you free resources, free training. And I think that's, for me, one of the most exciting things about End Abortion Now, what God has done, is that not only has God raised up Christians with the gospel to bring the gospel to the abortion mills, saving lives, But truly, I think one of the most exciting things for me is that God has done it as a completely free resource to all these churches.
Right.
These churches have not been asked for anything.
Right.
They have not paid for their materials, their resources, their training. We've given it all away. There's many actually examples of very good pro-life organizations in the past that have actually been a good resource in many ways to help people, like, how do I talk to a mother who's considering abortion, or like getting them connected to resources in some way, or giving them a kit, like training, like a sidewalk counseling, they'll say, and they'll, here's a kit. And, they'll, I think it's not wrong. They'll
Right.
charge them for the resource
yeah.
because it costs us money to do
Yeah.
these things. But God has blessed us tremendously in such a way as that we've been able to actually provide all the training, all the resources, the signs, the tracts, everything that these churches have received. They've gotten all, and we've just given it away.
Everything except these shirts.
Except
Which
these
can be found at shop.apologiastudios.com.
Say
for
that one more
$20.
time.
Shop.apologiastudios.com.
That's right.
For $20.
And we should explain this shirt real fast.
Yes, we should.
EndAbortionNow.com, of course, get people there, get connected to the resource. But baby lovers, okay? This actually started as an insult.
Yes.
And,
An attempt at an insult.
An attempt at an insult. And it was such a silly attempt at an insult that we just adopted it. We're like, yes?
We adopted it like we'll adopt your baby.
We'll take them. We were outside the abortion mill, and somebody who was out there, a death squad, or somebody was like, oh, you baby lovers.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, yeah?
What a horrible thing to be.
We'll take it. And so now you know where it came from. It was an attempt from a pro-abort or a pro-choicer or a death squad to hurt our feelings. And you baby lovers, and we said, okay. So we'll put it on a t-shirt, and now we're selling them. So babylover.com, and what is it again?
It's shop.apologiastudios.com.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so pick up a bunch of them, get them, distribute them, let the world know. Okay, all right, baby lovers, what do you want to talk about today? So we had Eric Hovind on.
Yes, I love
Talked
Eric.
about Scarred Earth and the film that you guys can go watch at thegrandcanyonmovie.com.
Yeah.
Encourage you guys all to go get that again and just share that resource. A good conversation starter. But we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about some media stuff today, using media, the attempts to suppress Christian media and conservative media. But before we start, let's have Joy talk to us.
Well, I was going to tell you guys about just something funny I saw on the internet. There was a woman that was on an Air Canada flight, just a real quick 90-minute flight. She fell asleep at some point on the flight, and then she woke up, and everyone was gone, and the plane was off.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Pitch black.
What?
Well,
How?
I mean, so I'm pregnant, and my brain's just not working quite like it used to, but I know there's like a dispensational joke in there somewhere about waking up on a
rapture
plane.
joke, yes. She woke up and Tim LaHaye was going.
Yeah, there are people out there that are like, oh, dang it, shoot. I thought I didn't think I knew left.
There was no people, but there was underwear everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they got clothes didn't get raptured.
Yeah. And
imagine if she was reading the Left Behind series, when she fell asleep and she wakes up, she's like, oh my gosh.
That's like reading Jaws and then going to take a trip to the ocean or something like that.
Yeah.
But she woke up. There's no, so how? First of all, how?
That's the
They
thing.
check she wasn't under a seat. She wasn't stowed away. She was just sitting. She was still buckled in and everything. So someone was like, all right, empty. And a full-size person was sitting
we're
there.
thinking bad things about this, like someone's just so neglectful, but it could be that it was a really, really loving flight attendant that was like,
she's sleeping like a baby.
She's sleeping like a baby.
She's like, I
I'm not
woke
gonna
up and there
bother.
was a blanket on me.
A pillow.
Well, so the thing is that you're talking like pitch black. You don't think about a plane being
it was
pitch
nighttime?
black. Yeah, it was dark.
If all the windows are
and so
shut.
it's pitch black because it's not like near the terminal because it's not being used currently. She goes. She
right.
goes
I had to
try and text someone for help. Manages to get a hold of one of her friends. Texts a few times back and forth, and then goes to FaceTime her friend, and her phone dies.
Oh no!
So she tries to charge the phone, but the plane is off. She like goes into the cockpit area and she's like terrified. She's gonna press the wrong thing. She tries to use the walkie-talkies, doesn't work.
This is amazing.
She gets a flashlight. She's like waving it around. She ends up opening the plane door, and it's like, I know it doesn't look like that much of a drop, but
it is
40 to 50 feet drop.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, I can't. So she hangs out of the door and shines the flashlight around. And luckily someone came and got her. It wasn't really
incredible.
the rapture. But
What did Air Canada do for her?
well, they acknowledged that it happened.
Good news. It happened.
It happened, eh?
Sorry.
Sorry. We're sorry about
They
that.
haven't officially responded as to how they're going to make it right. But they did. I did think it was funny. In the article, it does say the
Letter
words
A, not
left.
as an A.
I did think it was funny, eh?
It says the words left behind at one point in the article.
Okay, yeah.
And I loved the fact that that's so Canadian. It's just so Canadian that they'd be like, yes, it did happen. That's all we have to say about it.
We're sorry.
Yeah, that was real. But yeah, I don't know. At some point, I guess they can sue. She like could possibly sue
Yeah.
because of
At least a
like some
free
sort
flight.
of she's claimed to already have like an anxiety disorder. Poor woman.
It's not. It's let's say you're waking up in like an episode of The Twilight Zone or something.
Right.
Is what it is.
Well, because how do you miss someone on a flight?
Gee, I like to see. I like to see the conversation with the flight attendants. The executives got to be like, guys.
Well, so
guys, like
they
he was probably like,
deplaned.
what's going on, eh?
They completely deplaned, like pulled the plane away from the terminal.
Right.
The whole time, her bag and her body, her whole adult human body, is sitting in a chair. It's not like she was tiny or anything.
Right.
I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do the executives say? Like, guys, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, they would have woken her up per the airline policy.
Right.
So if they didn't wake her up,
No, actually, wait a second. This is in Canada, or it's
Yeah.
Air Canada. No, they don't want to. They don't want to cause any problems, or they don't want to do anything to offend anybody. They were like,
too polite.
Or maybe she was wearing a baby lover shirt. Like,
baby lover.
Forget her. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Incredible.
I think that Air Canada needs to go one step further and just explain how it happened. Not just that it happened.
Yeah.
Just we need to know what blind stewardess they have working on there doing the check.
Did you guys see that video? Did you guys see that? Speaking of Canada, did you guys see the video with Trudeau where he's being asked about the environmentalism and bottled water?
I heard
Plastic
about this, but I
bottles.
didn't see it.
You have to watch
That
it.
was really
I was in bed
painful.
watching. It was like midnight. I'm just like, we're gonna go to bed. I play it, and Candy's next to me, and it's 60 seconds long or so, and she starts dying laughing. She's like, "What is he even saying?" Have you heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's painful.
Yeah, it's very
really,
painful.
really painful.
Let's actually go ahead and let's do this. Let's play a clip of that right now. Let's play a clip of Trudeau right now.
And what do you and your family do to cut back on plastics?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper. Like drink box water bottles, sort of things. There's a number of choices we can make as consumers that will do better, and every consumer needs to look at ways they can make smarter choices in their consumptions. We certainly do that on a daily basis as we've switched from plastic water bottles to paper water bottles or cardboard water bottles. But there's always more things to do, and we're looking forward to continue that.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing. It's great.
That's great.
It's just fun for the whole family to watch.
Well,
it.
the
Like,
honest answer would have been nothing.
Yeah.
With his water bottles.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's what he does. You can tell he was like, oh, dang, what do we do?
Water bottle.
Honey, what do we use?
Drink box water bottle.
Boxes of water.
What paper?
Oh boy.
That's
Not
great.
plastic. No plastic.
So Canada, eh? So that's okay. All right. Great story, Joy. All right, you go ahead.
So this brings us into the next topic we were gonna bring up, and that was we were just talking about this today. Actually, is the Google video
Right.
being leaked to Project Veritas. Did you happen to see any of that at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay, so basically it's Google executives like just talking openly about how they're suppressing conservative stuff, and even changing the algorithms to affect conservative shows and everything, like openly, because it's an undercover-ish.
Yeah, Project Veritas
Yeah.
has this undercover
Yeah.
video of an executive basically describing openly the fact that they are trying to control the flow of information, they are suppressing stuff on Trump, conservative stuff, Christian stuff. Now we've known this for a long time, by the way. Obviously, everyone here at Apologia Studios knows exactly what's been going on.
Actually, our undercover person's in the audience right now.
That's right. Yeah,
we mention your name.
Yeah, we've been fighting this battle with Google and YouTube and Facebook for years now.
Yeah.
And when they change their algorithm and they work stuff into the algorithm, we will notice it, that we're having our videos suppressed. We'll see the numbers going down. People won't be seeing them. So we have to try to figure out what has happened in the algorithm, what word is being used now that obviously has keyed the system off. And so we'll have to stop using that word, and then we'll see everything go back up again. And basically every 6 months, we have to go through a complete rehaul of our content. We just recently had a victory over it on YouTube, and we're doing well now, where people are seeing our stuff. But that's,
we shouldn't have said that.
That's only oops. That's only because it takes a lot of work and a lot of man hours to try to figure out what have they done. So we've known for a long time. We knew that in 2016, when Trump won, we knew that there was a meeting with all the major platforms, and they talked about doing this sort of a thing. So we've known this has been going on for a long time. This was verification with a Google executive with a hidden camera, basically, that absolutely they're doing it. And since 2016, she notes that they since 2016 have had a team basically working on this. So that in 2020, there's not another Trump win. But it's not just Trump issues. This isn't about if you like Trump or not. Okay, it's not just Trump issues. It's conservative. It's Christian.
Yeah. So this is where I had a laugh. So one of these executives, I can't even say without laughing. He called Shapiro, Dennis Prager, and Jordan Peterson Nazis.
Right.
Now, ethnically, 2 of those 3 can't be Nazis.
Right.
But I'm just like, if anyone here is acting like a totalitarian Nazi, it's Google.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, they're the ones that are acting like Nazis. But I just read that and I was like, wait, you're calling 2 Jews Nazis? Like, that doesn't work.
It shows you the lunacy of the left and liberalism and everything else.
Yeah.
This is an important discussion to have. We're talking about when I had Eric on just a few minutes ago, I was talking about the fact that God has given to us in this generation such a tremendous gift. Right now, you guys are all watching this, streamed live globally. Right now, all over the world, if you think about it, we have people right now watching this in Europe. We have people watching this right now in South America, all over the United States, even Canada, Australia, New Zealand, it is Africa, all over the world, and you're all watching it at the same time. We're able to communicate a message at the same exact moment with high quality and in an instant, and you're doing it, and you're watching this. You guys you're watching this for free. I mean, obviously you had to pay for your device, you had to pay for your internet, but this is being streamed to you for free on platforms for free. And so that's a powerful thing. We have so many useful opportunities and powerful things at our fingertips. So even like Eric Hovind's film, I mentioned that 100 years ago, if we wanted to distribute information about the Grand Canyon and these 3 points of contact, evidence that show that it was a global flood, all those things, Eric and I would have to get on horseback and go across the country. We'd have to go to small congregations and talk to limited numbers of people and say, distribute the information. Time has to go by for them to start having those conversations, sharing information. We've got to travel. It's going to cost a fortune just to get the information out about 3 points of contact about the Grand Canyon. And now we get to do it just by saying, go to this link. And that people are watching it globally by the millions even. So we have all these amazing resources and tools, but the difficulty at the moment is we need more Christians doing what we're doing, right? Like when we're doing with Apologia Studios, and even things like End Abortion Now is to get, hopefully, other Christians mobilized to do exactly the same thing. And that's actually what we're trying to do with End Abortion Now, is to create those churches as their own standalone media ministries, that they begin doing what we're doing, right? Yeah. So A, we got to get Christians to start doing this kind of stuff, and then B, doing it at high quality. Or as high quality as you possibly can. So we don't want it to look like we're just a bunch of schlubs and people.
We don't want it to look like Left Behind.
Yeah, we don't want it to look horrible, right? Like, let's try to do stuff that's, great and well done. Christians have always been the movers and shakers with art and beauty and music and those things in history and science. And we got to get back to that, being the leaders in that. But the other thing that I think that's a big difficulty for us right now to overcome is you've got Google executives admitting that, yes, we're trying to dominate the conversation. They're not neutral. They're trying to control content. They're trying to control all the information. They're admitting it. One of the things that she says on the hidden video is she talks about the fact that they can't risk all of these other smaller companies rising up, being media machines and search engine machines, because they won't have the ability to control the information like we do.
Right.
That's basically, she admits it. Like, we can control the information, so we don't want these other smaller companies to, because they're not going to be able to control the conversation like we can, which means they can shut down conservative commentators, Christian commentators. And one of the amazing things that took place over the last couple of years that actually is scary. I mean, just be honest, it's very scary. You have, in 2016, Donald Trump gets elected. So all these major platforms start saying, all right, how'd this happen? Like I've talked before, I don't want to dominate this conversation, but I've talked before the fact that the week before Donald Trump was elected, I was in Australia and New Zealand, and their media in Brisbane, Sydney, and in Christchurch I was watching the whole week, all of that media in other countries was all about Donald Trump, all about Hillary Clinton, and all of them are saying landslide Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump doesn't stand a chance. All of our media was saying the same thing. CNN, MSNBC, you name it. They were all saying exactly the same.
Even Fox News.
The same thing. It's going to be a landslide win for Hillary Clinton. All the major media globally was like, we're controlling the conversation. We're going to tell you what it's like. All of a sudden, Donald Trump wins, and everyone goes, what in the world? How did we not see this coming? It's like, oh, you didn't know? Nobody's listening to you. It's all happening here. Social media, the community, we're talking to each other. And who do we have? We have our talking heads. Now, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Alex Jones was a reliable source of information in every area. But I am saying that Alex Jones and InfoWars and platforms like his, they were dominating the conversation. People were getting their stuff to them. They were going to watch him and listen to him. You had Alex Jones. You had a handful of other commentators that just owned it. And everyone was going to them. They were watching them. They were watching their live feed on election night. They weren't watching CNN. They're watching them. And so what's amazing is that all these platforms, they went, how did we not see this coming? We don't own the conversation anymore. So then what they do?
They're fake news. That's why.
They did something that was so brazen. It's surprising, it's upsetting, it's scary, and I mean this. And there's some documentaries out right now that you should go watch about Alex Jones and other guys that were shut down. These platforms met, and then what they do? I mean, very soon afterwards, they said, kill him, shut him down. And they shut down Alex Jones across all platforms. InfoWars, dead. All he has now is his website, and then he almost didn't even have that. All the companies connected that were like servers and platforms to get that website even possible, and to actually control the exchange of money so people could still give to Alex Jones and keep him going. He had to have a war with all those companies. They were all shutting down. So they were like literally all working together to say, kill his entire thing. So it wasn't just Alex Jones. There's a handful of other people that were controlling the conversation. They're done now. Gavin McInnes. As much as he was kind of wild and out there at times, people loved Gavin. They loved listening to him, and he got killed. He's done. He's over, out. No more voice. Why? Because all these platforms said, we're all going to work together. We're killing these guys. They'll have no place here. You can't even talk about them. You can't even have them. If you mention, if let's say that I start a channel right now, and I start a channel that's like all, say, old Alex Jones content, and I just want to take clips of his content, and I want to mention his name in my title, my description, and my tags, guess what? it's getting suppressed.
Yeah.
It'll get suppressed, or my channel will get killed because these platforms are that dedicated to killing completely those voices. Now, again, this isn't about whether you like Alex Jones. I'm not a fan of Alex Jones. It's not about that. It's about the fact that right now we're living in a time where you have all this opportunity to spread information quickly, and at the same time you've got all these major corporations that are saying, as unbelieving worldview organizations, we're not going to let you talk. And Christians should be very, very concerned about that.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this one last thing. I was just saying this to you earlier today. The thing that concerns me the most is you have a story like what happened with the Google executive and a hidden camera and an exposure. They are trying to control the conversation and kill the Christian message, kill the conservative message, and just destroy it. And I'm concerned that conservatives and Christians are not concerned enough about it. That we're not going to start sharing it and saying, hey, we're not going to tolerate this, we're not going to put up with it, everyone needs to know. Like today, and it could be also, here's the thing, I shared the thing today about Project Veritas and the interview. I shared it and almost nobody's seen it, almost nobody shared it. And I don't know if that's A, that it's being suppressed by Facebook, or B, that conservatives and Christians just don't care. I don't know which it is. I can't say.
Or C, all of the above.
I don't know. Is it being suppressed? Like, did Facebook put into its algorithm today? I don't want to be conspiracy theorist and tinfoil hat, but you know what? It's out there. There's proof of it. It's not craziness,
Our
right?
videos aren't getting any views today.
That's right. Yeah, we see times where we are suppressed. We see times where we've been shadow banned on videos. We know that it happens. It's a fact.
We know for a fact that we can't include certain words in titles of videos.
No question.
Otherwise, nobody will see them.
No question. So my concern is, and everyone watching this now, I mean, take it seriously because, you know, we can live in a world where we're like, is it that important? Is it that big of a deal? And then you're going to eat it 5 years from now. When 5 years from now, any Christian message, any sermon you try to share, any conservative-ish content gets blocked, suppressed, or you get a 30-day ban on Facebook because you shared a Paul Washer sermon.
Or if you start a business and that's how you make money and that's how you feed your family.
Right.
And then someone just steps in and is like, I don't like what you're saying.
That's right.
And, you know, it's important to consider the internet basically is like, you know, if you have any concern about your free speech on public property in the physical world, like consider the internet basically the largest space, like the largest public space there is on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And it's immaterial, you know, but it is a place where you'll interact with more people ever at one time than in your own physical world. And so when you consider that it's a public space. Obviously there are private elements of it. Like technically Facebook any privately owned company
I have something to say about that too, yes. Yeah.
Can have terms and conditions, but that's not just what we're talking about. We're talking about financial institutions. We're talking about servers. We're talking about it would be the equivalent of the government stepping in and infringing on your rights on public land. Like, if you step into private land, then your rights
the story
as
changes.
A citizen, change.
Yeah.
But if you're in a public space, you have and maintain certain rights. Now, obviously, for a long time, Facebook, Google, I don't know if Twitter ever claimed to be a free exchange of ideas, but they claimed to be for free speech, and now obviously we know that that's just not.
It's supposed
really
to be a community.
But but to have a public space monopolized in an attempt to shut down certain things, that's not not ethical. It goes beyond the rights of a public or of a private internet company. I guess what I'm trying to say.
And there's something to say too about, of course, when it's a privately owned corporation and they say we'll provide the service, you're on our, you're on our corporate idea.
Right.
And we've built this and you're here and we're going to give it to you and here's the terms and conditions and all of that. there's still the assumption within that from the community that this is a social media platform where I get to share my ideas and my stories and my views.
Yeah.
And there's still the assumption everyone has that we're allowed to do that here, right?
Yeah.
And what is a problem is the lack of integrity of these platforms to say, but we're not neutral and we don't want to hear your story.
Right.
Exactly.
And so what needs to be done is people recognize, okay, if this private corporation says that they're a social media platform where everyone can be on here as a community, it's the public square, we can share information, they need to have the integrity to say, but we're of a secularist and a humanist or a Marxist or neo-Marxist worldview, and we're not going to allow conservative or Christian ideas. They have to have the integrity to say that. The problem is they're not saying that.
Yeah.
They're basically shadow banning Christian things,
Right.
conservative things. Here's the thing, watch. I have not been able to use pro-life language or language about the gospel and abortion in any of our videos for the longest time, because we all recognize that whenever we were using words like pro-life and anything related to pro-life, we noticed that our videos weren't getting above 300 views. Now, we could put a video up that turns into 50,000 views tomorrow, and none of us are surprised by that.
Right.
It'll happen, and it's like, praise God, that's what God's blessed us with, and that'll happen. But when you go from, say, a video that's just getting 10,000 to 100,000 views automatically to now we can't get a video to go above 325 views, all of a sudden you go, what is happening? Something is off here. What's going on? And you realize it's because all the language you use in these videos was all pro-life. It was all the conflict over abortion, and you recognize their algorithm is not allowing your video to be seen. So my point is it may be a private industry, agreed, and you're on their private property, but there are certain things that we're all agreeing to be a part of it, which means this. What we should be saying as Christians and conservatives in this country is that we're not going to use your platforms and resources. I'm not going to be a dollar sign for you any longer. Because you guys all realize that on these social media platforms, we are their money.
Yeah.
So when a social media platform says to an advertiser, I'm going to charge you $250 for this 2-day ad that will reach 50,000 people on my platform or 100,000 people on my platform, they're only able to charge that amount of money and give those terms to advertisers, which is where they're making all their money, because of your head. And so if Christians and conservatives tell these platforms, if you're not going to let me tell my story and speak the truth on your platform, I'm not going to be a part of your platform anymore.
Yeah. Right.
So we have to recognize that we're the ones that are in power.
Right.
These platforms only have the power they have because of your head.
Exactly.
And as soon as you remove yourself from their platform, they lose their platform. So what has to happen is Christians and conservatives have to in many ways become activists. I'm not saying be a tinfoil hat, crazy, wild-eyed activist, nutcase. I'm saying you have to be an activist in terms of saying, I won't stand for it. I'm not going to tolerate you suppressing my preaching of the gospel, my sharing a Paul Washer sermon. I mean, we know somebody that connected to us that shared a Paul Washer sermon, and they were shut down. They were shut down for sharing a Paul Washer sermon. They had a Paul Washer sermon on the gospel removed from their account because it mentioned language that was keying off their system. And so it's like, that's a Paul Washer sermon. I mean, Paul Washer's amazing and he's a heavy dude, but I mean, his sermons shouldn't get shut down. And so big conversation, important conversation to have, and I think we ought to actually engage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the same thing like with abortion and gay mirage. We've gotten where we are because Christians had the same mentality as stuff was slowly changing and laws were being passed. And Christians just whatever, they didn't think anything of it, and then 5 years later, it did matter.
That's right. So. Matters a lot. Yeah, if we right now put anything into our title, description, tags about homosexuality, there's a good chance that our channel will get shut down.
Yeah.
There's a good chance our videos will get suppressed for even merely putting those words into our descriptions and tags in terms of any form of opposition. That is where we're at now. These platforms are, we're not getting there.
No, we're there. Yeah.
We're past it, beyond it. It's already been going on for a long time. Listen, this is a conversation Apologia Studios has been having for years. We know this is how it works, and this is what we've been trying to work around.
And Dr. White's been having it even longer.
Yeah, and everybody knows at Apologia Studios that Jeff handles the channel and works through the stuff, and I have to constantly clean stuff up and work the system. Everybody knows when we're in a moment where like we've hit a roadblock, I'm working through it, and I'm, oh, hey, guess what, guys, we're over it now. Like, we figured it out, like we're there. And it'll last about 6 months, and then all of a sudden you see everyone go, woo, and we have to figure out, okay, what changed? How do we have to work around it? So this is something we've known for a long time, and we hope that now you're in this conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We should be more like John Knox, who we now have joined us on set.
That's right.
Every episode. So.
That's right. Yeah. These guys, reformers, strong men. Yes. All right, guys. So this is Next Week with Jeff Durbin. I encourage everybody to go to the place on the shirt, endabortionnow.com. That's really what the show is all about, guys. It's a connector point to endabortionnow.com. Go get connected to endabortionnow.com. And get signed up with your church, get all the free training, get all the free resources. For those of you guys that believe very strongly in this mission to bring the gospel into this area, you can also give there at endabortionnow.com to help us with these resources, to help us to equip the churches globally. Big news too, we actually are uploading onto endabortionnow.com for all of our churches training on how you can start your own media ministry, which we're very, very excited about. You'll be able to get training from Carmen, from me. Carmen is in charge of everything back there behind the cameras, and on how to actually do what we're doing here. We get all of it from us, and we're not asking you for anything. You get it all for free. All the training is for free. Should we announce? Can we do it? Is it going to be up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can we at least
We've already announced that.
Did we? Oh, okay. That's right. Time-wise, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know when this one's going. Okay.
Okay, yes. Okay, all right. And encourage you all to go to ReformCon.
Private conference.
What's the website? This shows you how organized.
I don't know.
We are having, let's tell everyone about the conference. We are doing.
The website it's up. It's been up. We're just forgetting it.
Yes,
but,
yeah, that's right. We want to invite you guys all to come out to Arizona when?
October 24th and 26th.
Yep. Why don't you guys tell everyone about the dates and times, and then I'll...
October 24th to 26th.
Yep,
okay.
October 24th, 25th, and 26th.
That's right.
That's
24th, 25th, 26th,
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
The Saturday is actually End Abortion Now conference, but ReformCon 2019 is on that Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
Here in Arizona, you get to come and join us. You get to hang out with us, meet us, get some amazing teaching over a couple of days, get a free conference, actually. End Abortion Now is free.
Saturday,
So reformcon.org, reformcon.org is where you guys go to get signed up, to get connected, and very excited you guys will be able to go there, see all the speakers, and get an early bird discount for the tickets for the conference.
Yep.
You will be able to come, get some amazing food. We have stuff planned for just fun stuff there, some great vendors, teachers, hang out with Luke, the bear, Joy, the girl, you hang out with me, you hang out with Dr. White, and just a whole slew of other people. So reformcon.org is where you guys go.
I'll tell you some of it. So besides you, obviously, and myself at End Abortion Now, Rusty Thomas. Zach Connor will be there for that. We also got Joe Boot, Toby Sumter, James White, John Sampson, Andrew Sandlin.
Woo!
Sheila Lodrins will be there. Cross Politic will be there.
Oh man,
it's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. Yes. And we're going to have just a lot of fun time to hang out together, to fellowship. So make sure you guys go. I want to say this, and please take this very seriously. You really need to. Go to reformcon.org, get your tickets, and do it soon because we have limited space.
Yes.
We only had so many places we could do this conference, and we have limited space. And once we're out of tickets, we're out of tickets. And it's just, I think it's going to fill up actually very fast. Mm-hmm. So reformcon.org, guys, come hang out with us. Let's have an amazing conference. And that is all next week with Jeff Durbin. Guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys share the episode, like the episode, and go to endabortionnow.com. Thank you guys so much for watching.